A hero's journey at ASU. Although many would think that the hero's journey only starts at ASU, there are many things that are related to it on the ASU campus. As Pearson says in her book, Awakening the Heroes Within, although we are heroes at every stage of the journey, how we define and experience heroism is affected by which guide is most active in our lives, culturally and individually. So although it may seem that heroism is way after we get out of college, Pearson would say that it is in every step of our lives. ASU's campus has people that are in all different steps of the hero's journey. To do this project, I chose to pick out some of the culture of a college student out of mine and my friends' experiences throughout college. In this analysis of the hero's journey, the assumption is that when I am talking about freshmen, I mean adults around the age of 18. This is only a percentage of ASU students, so it is crucial to realize that many students will fall into different categories of the hero's journey depending on what stage in life they are in. So I'm sure you are all wondering, how does the hero's journey relate to ASU? The hero's journey has everything to do with ASU. It is because of the hero's journey that we are all here at ASU. We are all driven to do something with our lives, whether it be to become a doctor, a lawyer, a professor, or just to have that diploma. Each one of us is here for a reason, and that is what the hero's journey is about, to flourish and better ourselves. I am going to go through the hero's journey here at ASU based on the 12 archetypes presented by Carol S. Pearson. Archetypes, as quoted of Carl Jung by Alan Dundes, operate independently of man's conscious mind. Man does not invent them, but simply inherits or receives them. The first archetype I want to discuss are the innocent and the orphan. Here, the innocent and the orphan would represent the freshman and sophomore, who for this analysis are between the ages of 17 and 20. They can be either one of these archetypes. The innocent is coming into the university without knowledge of adult life and must trust the university to teach them what they need to know. The orphan may come into the university as an orphan who may distrust any authority at the university. The innocent may turn into the orphan after being at the university for a while, although it is not always necessary for the innocent to take on the orphan archetype. The next archetype is the warrior. I represented the warrior here as the juniors. Junior year is when many college students usually kick their academics into gear, since it is now time to look at the future and plan out your last semester at ASU. The juniors take on the warrior archetype because, as Pearson would say, they have the capacity to make goals and to stick to them. They claim their power in the world at this stage of the college career. The seeker is much like this, but instead of trying to achieve academic goals, they are moving on in search of new horizons. This is why I chose the seniors to be the seekers. I know at this stage in my life I am ready to move forward and seek out new things. Pearson's text quotes, "Once we have made the decision to cross the threshold, which in this case means graduation, and undertake our heroic journeys, we experience a number of tests that check whether we have learned the lessons of the previous archetypes." The creators on ASU campus is us. All the students and faculty can make up the creator's archetype. I chose to portray the creator archetype as all students and faculty because I believe college matches with many of the stages for creations on all different levels. The creator archetype is first created unconsciously. Pearson quotes that, "At first we create unconsciously with no sense that we are actually creating what is happening to us." I think this is what college is all about, because we are opening ourselves to an education and allowing ourselves to run with what we want to in our lives. The lover I chose to portray as the relationship that you encounter through college. In college, relationships play a huge part. The college life outside of school is very much based on the relationships that you are having. Love is such a huge basis because it changes people's lives. For example, you may not do things that you normally would because it is not beneficial to your partner or your relationship. The last archetype that I use to describe the students here at ASU is the destroyer archetype. The destroyer archetype is present in the college life and in other aspects of life. It can be a loss of a loved one, or turning to alcohol or drugs as a coping mechanism, or just because you think it is fun. I chose to show the shadow side of the destroyer archetype because I believe it is very present in college society. Data from the NIAAA, which is the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, say on average 1,700 college students die each year from alcohol-related deaths, and 599,000 are injured. This shows that this is a problem in colleges today, and at ASU it is still a problem. The destroyer follows along these lines when the drinking and drug use becomes routine or is done in a way that is self-destructive. The next 5 archetypes I chose to portray more from the side of the university than the students. The Fool I thought related a lot to the more artistic side of campus. For this I thought both Greek life and the music and arts were tied in. I think this relates to those things because when thinking of a Fool archetype, both creative and fun comes to mind. Pearson states that the Fool explores the world out of innate curiosity, creating for the simple joys of creation and living life for its own sake without thought of tomorrow and with little or no concern with convention, traditional morality, or what the neighbors will say. To me, this is what the more artistic side of ASU community is like. The caregiver I represented as the advisors that work at ASU. I think the advisor represents this because they are our guides through the classes that we take at ASU. I think they are the caregivers because they feel the need to care for others and teach them. I think as advisors, they also go through all the stages because at first they might be pushovers, and as time progresses, they realize their own needs. Pearson says it is something like tough love to teach students they must create timely and good quality work. The ruler, on the other hand, I represented as the professors at ASU. Although I thought they were also very much like the caregivers, I thought this fit really well with the professor's mentality because the ruler is there with all the wisdom that they have acquired to teach others things that they are passionate about. I think some professors can achieve this to the highest degree, while others are lacking in some of the important aspects for both a ruler and a professor. For the magician, I chose to do the professionals who work with students and their health and wellness on campus. I think this fits because there are always offers to go in and talk to counselors, doctors, or religious advisors for the well-being of students. These fit into the magician archetypes because the biggest goal of the magician is healing and growth, which I feel is a lot like those offices. The sage archetype can be represented by scholars and graduate students who want to learn more and understand the world as it is. Pearson's text quote that, as the sage's highest level, it is not simply about finding knowledge, but about becoming wise. I think this is a lot like scholars and graduate students, because the graduate student goes back to college to become more enlightened about the subject they study. I think when you get to the PhD level is when the highest level of sage is reached, because the want to be wise is obviously there. Although many may think ASU is only the beginning of their journey, and for many of us it is, I know that it has been such an adventure, and I am so excited to move to the next chapter of my life and on to the next archetype.